The first time I heard about COVID-19 was in the newspaper. A lot of people, I think a lot of the teachers were joking that this wasn't going to be, this isn't a thing. Deering's just going off his his mind.
Even though I knew the coronavirus was there, it just felt very far away. In March, just a few days before, was it South by Southwest, I believe, when they started talking about canceling that. And then the rodeo. Wow, this is big.
And the Tuesday before spring break, Mr. D stands up during announcements and says, you know guys, you guys have been hearing this in the news about this virus. We need to be prepared for any eventuality, and that may include going online. And we kind of looked at each other and said, okay, we could do that easy enough, but is that really going to happen? Is that really going to be possible? And that Friday morning I woke up and my mother came into my room and said, go back to sleep. And I said, what do you mean? It's family groups, we got Spirit Wars today. She said, school's been canceled, all of Austin is shut down. I said, why? She said, because of COVID.
On March 13th, we took the day when we found that Austin had a case. We took that day as a faculty to talk through, I know our staff, just overall, what does this mean? The great Lutheran question, what does this mean? We never done anything like this before, and nobody had done anything like this before. And so when that happens, you learn by experience, you learn by doing it, and putting a framework together to go ahead and do it, that was the key. How do we take this really scary situation of COVID-19 and keep students and teachers and the whole community focused on moving forward and still doing tests and still doing projects and doing all those quote-unquote normal things that a high school does, just remotely.
As things went up and down, teachers went up and down at different rates. And I'm not ashamed to say I cried in a faculty meeting because it was just at that point to where I was exhausted. You know, I was not, I just didn't feel like I was getting through to my students like I wanted to. But everyone jumped in and encouraged me, and I got through it. You know, what are we if we're not surrounded by our friends?
We recognize that the senior year, especially as you get into the April and May, there's so many things that you celebrate with the seniors. They're excited, the whole school is excited. They missed out on a lot of things.
They say that senior year is some of the time where you make the most incredible memories. We have many important events coming up. We have graduation, we have prom, our senior prom. We have events like Spirit Days. We have weeks of excitement. We have sports events that we're excited to attend. And we lost all of it, or at least that's how it felt.
You could just feel the morale through the computer screen, through Zoom. The morale just, it was sad. It was a real sad moment when the seniors should be happy. We looked at it as was a different challenge. What can we do differently that we've never done before?
Through Concordia having the smaller size and having the tight-knit community, the staff was able to come around us as a community and build us up, re-energize us, rejuvenate us with excitement for our school and for our faith. The majority of the faculty and several of the administrators boarded our huge albino rhino bus and socially distanced with masks and windows down, and they started early in the morning. And they drove until late into the evening, stopping at every senior who was home. You heard the bus drive up with its big diesel engine and the horn honking, and you heard cheering. Normally, especially during COVID, you don't hear that. So you go outside and you wonder, what is that? You walked out of your door to an incredible crowd of teachers who mean more to you than anybody else in the world, cheering for you, yelling about you, being excited for you, throwing confetti, handing you things like Miss Gideon's absolutely famous banana pudding. Events like that made our week, they made our month, and they made our school time special.
And I knew that I wanted to participate in all those senior events because I love those kids. I called those kids my babies because they were the ones I had as freshmen. So I had them all 4 years of Concordia. And I would get up on those mornings and think, I'm going to go out and I'm going to love on them and support them and be a blessing to them. And then I would get in my car and drive home and I would think, wow, I got the blessing from that. I was so blessed by seeing those kids and seeing their families.
That in 15 years, I don't think I've ever seen a student smile, just kind of glow, seeing their teachers, and as a senior at the end of the year, when most seniors are like done, they don't want to see their teachers anymore, they don't want to be around, they were glowing, and their families were glowing, and it was just it was a moment in my professional life that I'll never forget.
Graduation was an incredibly uncertain thing. We weren't sure what it was going to be like. We weren't sure how it was even going to happen. We had seen public schools where they had it purely online. And for us, which was such a tight-knit community, that was scary. We had received several emails about updates about here's how COVID's progressing, here's how guidelines are progressing. And at one point, we reached an email that had said, all right, we're able to have graduation. We're going to have it in person. We were able to follow those guidelines absolutely to the T, and even more so to a point where everyone, even the most concerned people, felt safe. We hadn't seen each other in several months, and through graduation we were able to see each other one last time and bring our school year and our school career to an end before we headed off to college and the real world. In that time, those 3 hours that we were together meant more to us than anything else could have. And the fact that Concordia was able to do that for us made us so much more sure that Concordia was the place that we were meant to be, and that God was so instilled in. And my hope and my prayer would be that Concordia could reach more and more and more lives, and come along more students to give them those aspects.